accumulation country. It's that time of the week again. We've got another really interesting Lightning Node Roundtable episode. It is I think it's the final hack sprint that they're doing for the summer break. We're going to discuss a whole bunch of different updates, like Raspblitz 1.6 release candidate being out. Talk about OpenOms is going to talk about his graphic user interface for the join market, possibly alternate dashboards coming to the Raspblitz. We're going to talk about I think it's called the Wii node, which is essentially an Android-based node, which I haven't really gotten to experiment with. Anyways, this episode is packed, and actually, the only thing I want to say is that, unfortunately, at some points you'll notice that the audio for Rootsall seems to get choppy. I do apologize. Unfortunately, we're all around the world, and we are going to have some audio issues. So I do apologize for that, and I just want to warn you guys about that. But otherwise, it's definitely a really great show, packed with tons of Lightning information. And if you're somebody who's super excited, looking at the Lightning projects, check out the show notes, because there's a lot of links to different GitHubs, to some easy projects, some of them a little bit more advanced, but all of them definitely fun and educational too at the same time, right? So you get to learn something new, and you get to contribute, and you get to do something cool. So all of that good stuff. Before we get into that, though, we are going to talk about dollar cost averaging and my sponsor, Swan Bitcoin. For anybody who is interested in dollar cost averaging and who wants to be purchasing Bitcoin but doesn't want to be spending their time constantly watching the charts and listening to traders that they really have no idea whether these people are credible or not, and you kind of just want to put this in a passive sleep mode where you're simply just accumulating and hodling, being able to transfer that Bitcoin out to your own private address. So if you're interested in doing that, and that falls in your wheelhouse, then you are looking for Swan Bitcoin. With Swan Bitcoin, the three main takeaways are we can do automatic withdrawal from a bank account, automatic purchases of BTC. You can time them based on your when you receive your check. You can do it, let's say once. You can do it once a month, or you can do it per pay period as well. There's lots of options for you to be able to customize how you purchase, and you could automatically withdraw to your chosen address. So if you're interested in a Bitcoin-only platform that is doing the great work of helping onboard people, then you definitely want to check out Swan Bitcoin. I'm going to have the link to their website in the show notes. All right, here we go. Lightning Node Roundtable Hack Sprint Edition. All right, Bitcoin accumulation country. We're back with another hack sprint. This is the June Hack Sprint 2020. And joining us is we've got Fulmo, we've got Rootsall, we've got OpenOms, we've got 21 is enough, and we are going to be running through some of the projects that are being worked on right now on the hack sprint. And I see here Rootsall. I see a really long list. The Raspiblitz, the IP2 Tor, the LN bits. How do we want to do this? Is there something specific that you guys worked on for this hack sprint?
So there was a lot of stuff going on. Maybe not that much as on the last hack sprint, but still a lot of stuff we can talk about. And we can just go through the list. I think that will be fine, because when you see there's some outcomes noted, I think we could talk about it and see if somebody's in the room here to comment maybe on it.
Okay. So which one do you? Which one should we start with over here?
I think we can do the Raspblitz if you like. So
okay, cool. By the way, I got 1.5 installed.
Okay, that's good. So for everybody not knowing, we had the last sprint roundabout. We had the 1.5 released, and in between there was a smaller upgrade, the 1.5.1, and everybody's using the Dropbox a backup is strongly recommended to update because it fixes a bug in that. Yeah, we're already working on 1.6 now. So, and we have a first release candidate we kind of shared during the hack sprint in the community to experiment with it. And yeah, I'm happy to let people know what is the good thing stuff there. So.
Very cool. I'm glad that you have 1.6 release candidate already. Are you able to share some of the what you guys are working on in 1.6?
Oh yeah, sure. So first of all, there's a lot of updates, of course. There's the L&D update, Bitcoin Core to 0.20. So all of those projects that already were on the Raspblitz got updated, a lot of them at least. And yeah, we have some new additions there. We have, for example, Thunderhub. So was presented on the last hack sprint that this project is around. It's a little bit like RTL with a different kind of angle, but also able to manage your node in a very nice GUI through the web browser. So this is now also part of the 1.6, so or coming up 1.6. The release candidate 1 is really more just for testers, so don't get too wild, put it on your production node. But if you have a test node running around, you can download it from the branch on the GitHub. There is the SD card image. And like balance of Satoshis in there, and also Faraday, for example. So to analyze a little bit more your channels and to optimize on your channel management. So so those are the kind of standards, like updating, putting new apps in. The biggest thing, like, and we pushed some other stuff a little bit down the road for that, was to integrate the IP2Tor tunnel service stuff. But this is the kind of second part of my list here, so I will come back to this in a second. Let's talk about what happened on this hack sprint here. OpenOMS, you did a GUI update for the join market, so let us know about that.
Yes, I could also. Should I do a very quick screen share just to show it's working? Or I mean, I've been into the habit of it already. So it's basically just about doing an interactive guide. What we had already available with 1.5, we had the insta script running on the Raspblitz, installing the join market latest version, and now there is a little GUI which can be activated and tested already. And I just very quickly show it if someone is looking at the live stream, that here how it is looking like, and we can run the year generator now without needing to type any comments, and configure a couple of things, monitor the service, for example. You can see there have been like stuff happening here already. The node is communicating on IRC, which is great to see, and can call another. We can call the scripts from this interface without needing to remember all the syntax which has been there. So this is, for example, for demonstration purposes, this is a new wallet showing all the 5 mixed depths and the deposit addresses. And I mean, I won't go through all the functions now, because there's been just a demonstration to do that, and they are pretty stable now. I can say they're working. And then the biggest thing is, which we have been speaking about the last hack sprint as well, that you can open the proper GUI, the Qt GUI, and now gives you some instructions to do it, which are pre-filled. You don't need to do anything else other than just copy paste this command, put your password in, and the GUI will open very quickly. And this is, as you can see, it's working. The instructions are prepared for all 3 major operating systems: Linux, Mac, and Windows as well. So, as I said, there are not really new functions. but it is about having the guide, and now it is translated, automated, as we usually do in Raspblitz, that we take a guide and then we make it work for the people who don't want or don't need to remember the common syntaxes anymore. So this is a way for that. I think this could make it to the 1.6 version of the SD card release, but in any case, it is, if you're already running joinmarket on your Raspblitz, it is like a usual one-line setup to install it, which I don't have open here, but I mean, you can refer to my tweets or anything to see what the actual script we need to download and just install here, and to have this menu appearing when you're logging into joinmarket. So the biggest thing is that you can have the real generator running in the background, and you don't need to like keep any windows open or think of anything else, and provide liquidity for coin joins in decentralized fashion, and maybe even earn a couple of cents, but certainly improve the privacy of your coins. So that was it about.
I like it a lot, man. It's really, really nice. So I'm sorry, I didn't catch if you said this, but is this eventually, right now you said that you could install it manually yourself, but is there a plan to put this in raspiblitz going forward? Like, is this going to be in 1.6?
Yes, I think it is ready to be there. I mean, it can be updated from within this menu. So if there are any bug fixes, any new features which are still, very much needed, can be put in there and updated even after the SD card release. So, I would be confident enough to use it for myself. So, I will put a pull request in, and we'll see if Roots will authorize it or not. But yes, even now, it is, if I just open this, so on GitHub /openums/joininbox, there is, in the little README, I might just share my screen again very quickly. Now I'm so happy I can do it. I wasn't able to share my screen before. So if you can see this, this is the github.com/openums/joininbox, and that is in the README. There is this installing the joininbox menu on Raspblitz 1.5 plus, and you just need to do these two lines: download the script, run it, and then when you are opening the joinmarket as before, it's just it starts with the menu instead of the command line. So
very nice.
That's what I was finishing. I mean, I'm working on this for a while now, but I've put the kind of some major steps now, which now makes it usable for everyone.
Very nice. So, does anybody have any questions for OpenNoms?
I'm good. I'm
good?
really looking forward to see this. and I think I'm very confident that I will merge in from.
Okay, thank you. That's what I like, that the supportive community here.
Some pre-approval right there. Very cool.
It does look pretty exciting. Even though when I first started using joinmarket on the Raspblitz, OpenNoms told me that there wouldn't be a GUI for quite a while, so I had to learn terminal, which I did, and it's fairly easy, but I guess this will open up the way for even more users, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, I think using the terminal, especially with joinmarket, gives you a sort of confidence, which you cannot gain otherwise. So I think it's a great way to do it in any case, even if you have this GUI available and the joinmarket Qt GUI as well. So well done there, Jeff.
Okay. Hey, okay, so does anybody have anything else for OpenNoms? All right, Rootsall, what else happened this weekend?
So we had for sure a little bit more happening on the Raspblitz. So there was also from 21 after zero-tier integration working on. So maybe tell us, 21, can you tell us what zero-tier is and now how does it work on the Raspblitz? Or at least what, I think little stuff is still a little bit missing, but a great programming was where the most programming was kind of done for the hack sprint.
Exactly, yes. Let me try to put my camera on here too. Can you see me? Good. Yeah, so zero-tier, I've been using zero-tier for a while for all my personal devices. I think it's a beautiful way of interacting with your devices in what is called a virtual private network. So zero-tier is an open source solution that allows you to pretty easily connect your devices into a virtual network so they can talk to each other. It is like zero-tier themselves that describe it as a sort of, you can almost imagine those networks, the zero-tier networks being sort of chat rooms, and you can join those chat rooms with your devices, and then they can talk to each other. So as if, imagine you're having your Wi-Fi at home, you have all your devices connected either through Wi-Fi or through a cable. Your mobile phone talks to your Raspblitz, but then as soon as you leave your home, you lose that connection, unless you have some sort of maybe a VPN or a Tor connection or ports forwarded. And with zero-tier, you don't need that. Like, you join with your devices the same network, and it doesn't matter where you are. You do not need to open ports. You do not need to configure your router in any way. You can just leave home as long as you have internet connection, your mobile phone still connected to that VPN service. You will still be able to talk to all your devices, the devices that are in that network. And I've used it for a while with all my full nodes, with all the different software or hardware platforms that I run full nodes on. And now I thought, yeah, why not Raspiblitz would be a nice addition to the Raspiblitz. And so, yeah, that initial pull request, there is an open pull request now that implements it. It works. It's implemented in the most rudimentary form for now, let's say. It works. You can install it through the menu. It'll be shown to you how to join new networks. So in a future version, or maybe enhance the pull request some more, I'll probably add an additional sort of restore function. So the Raspiblitz, if you've update or if you have a failure on your SD card, you can restore the Raspiblitz fairly easy with just flashing a new SD card and basically just booting up your Raspi again. So that zero-tier setup should be included in that restore functionality as well, so that Raspiblitz comes back into your zero-tier network. Then some add-ons maybe from a user interface perspective, giving the user the possibility to join their networks easily through the terminal or through the Raspiblitz menu. That's probably some things that we can add there. But yeah, it's working, and I've been using it for a long time anyway with all my devices. I think it's nice for people who do not have the opportunity or maybe technical literacy to set up their own VPN network. They can easily do that now through zero-tier.
Okay, this is really cool. I've never heard of it. Thank you so much for explaining this. I just went to their website. They have mobile apps. They have the desktop application for this. I'm definitely going to check this out. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's lovely, Dave. And it's super easy, like the setup process on all the devices. On Android, you've just got an Android app that you configure as your VPN application on the phone. On any other platform like Linux, it's basically a one command, and you install it, you join a network, and instantly devices can talk to each other. It's end-to-end encrypted, so even though zero-tier is involved in a way, like although it's open source, so you can technically run it completely by yourself, but the easier solution for people who just want to try it out is sign up with zero-tier, create an account on their website, and then the only thing that they will see is like you're connecting through their service with your devices, but the traffic is end-to-end encrypted. So all they get is maybe your public IP or probably the clients that you're using, but it might have some privacy implications, but the traffic is encrypted, so they cannot read what data you're exchanging.
I definitely have to mess with this in order to even have more questions about it, because it's It's definitely interesting. Does anybody have any questions for 21 is enough? No? So let me ask you this. Is it, Rootsall, where is this planned to be in the Raspiblitz? Is this planned for 1.6 or is this much later?
Oh no, the pull requests already, the basics I think are there. So, and we will have for the final 1.6, I think we will have about 2 weeks, maybe plus, still to finish it and to test it out. And I'm quite confident to get at least to get this basic configuration for the script in there, so that you can set it up. It should be possible to get it into the 1.6. And it's always the Raspberry is quite open to even if it's just as a command line script in the beginning, then to have it experimental in there. So that some stuff can maybe even try it out over the time. But as more and more it's something like this matures, we try to put it more and more then into the GUI dialogues and something else, and into better documentation and stuff. So I'm confident at least people can play with this in a 1.6. So let's see. So 21 is enough. I hope there's still some on the last stuff we have to work on that, but I'm pretty comfortable.
Yes, definitely get it in. Yeah, we'll do.
It's really cool. Thank you very much. So, moving on, Rootsall, do you have anything else for 21 is enough? Or
not directly, but I have a topic that kind of connects to this quite good. Just to finish a little bit what was still done before the Raspiblitz there was also an alternative dashboard idea for the Raspiblitz from Fusion 44, and I think we will connect with Frankie on this to see where we go with this. Nice video out there. I hope it will post it soon on Twitter, maybe to take a look. But to connect to the topic that 21 is enough with the zero tier, like we see that it's coming more and more of an more of an issue. How can I connect more freely and on the on the go, not outside of my home with my Raspiblitz? Because this is always a problem, like how to configure the router and all the stuff. So zero tier, I think, is a solution for people that want to build an overlay network, but it may require the other person on this other side to still install a proxy kind of client. A little bit like you could also like run your Raspiblitz behind Tor, and people, of course, can also connect from the outside to Tor, then to the Raspiblitz. But still, there was always a problem that people has to do either install some proxy software on the mobile phone for Tor, for example. That's not running easily for everybody. Even I had sometimes problems to get it running on my mobile phone, or they have to be the apps that you want to connect to have to specially support Tor for that. And this doesn't even work then for smaller devices sometimes if you're unlucky. So another topic that's in the 1.6 and the release candidate 1, which we tried out, are the IP to Tor bridges or tunnels. So this was something worked on by Frankie, or even on the I think 2 hack sprints ago, MZ was doing like groundwork for this, testing out, finding how to configure a Linux server to make a bridge between the Tor network and the clear IP. And what happens with that is, like, a server out there on the internet can function as a bridge. So you let run your Raspiblitz behind Tor, so you have a good privacy shield there, and you connect to that server on the outside that's on the internet through Tor. So maybe even that server doesn't know who you are, and then the server gives you an port address on its IP, and then other people that don't need to install anything else, because every device out there knows how to talk to a ClearNet IP, can then connect to your Raspiblitz. So this was two hack sprints ago. This was kind of the basic groundwork MZ was presenting, and then on the last hack sprint, the Frankie was building this into a little bit more, building an API around it, so that it makes more easy for the Raspiblitz, for example, to go to a shop kind of setup, and to just get such a bridge servers. So there could be now, and this is now just we integrated this now into the Raspiblitz 1.6, is that you can use it really like a shop. So there can be services. It's completely open source. Everybody can set up such a shop, or can set up such IP2TOR bridges and then rent them out to people that want to make a subscription. So it's a new kind of subscription service. You pay a little bit for that. It's Lightning microtransactions, but it makes it very, very easy for non-technical people then to run safely behind Tor and make their node available to the outside world, like people like it would be a normal internet server there. And in the 1.6 release candidate 1, we have you can connect your mobiles with that. And so, for example, if you have your Raspblitz running behind Tor, you want to connect your mobile wallet, it will ask you, do you want to use such an IP2TOR bridge? Do you want to rent such a service? And then you can go to this shop, see a little bit list of available bridges. You choose one. They maybe have different prices. And different descriptions. Maybe one is in Sweden, one is in Germany, something like that. And you pick the one you're most comfortable with and try it out. And then the rest you have to configure nothing else. So Raspiblitz is just doing everything for yourself. And then you see the pairing code. And if you pair your mobile wallet then with your Raspiblitz, it connects through this bridge, and you can automatically go outside and reach now your node from everywhere. So this is kind of what we have in the Raspblitz 1.6 now, and the release candidate 1. We tested this a little bit out over the hack sprint. We still found some little stuff, but this is exactly why we tested it out now to kind of make this bug free and get the last bugs out. But it really looks good. And we're discussing for the future now how we can make even more of services than available on the Raspiblitz through this bridge. For example, if you host an LMBits or BTC Pay server, you maybe also want to have them easily reachable to the outside, like every other web server out there, but you want to run behind Tor with them. So and also making those available then through HTTPS is the next kind of step. Not exactly sure if you can get this just into the 1.6 yet. Maybe we have to push this a little bit back to the 1.7. But this is going now to develop this a little bit further, because then you would really be able to run your Raspiblitz and serve services to your local community in a very easy way, without setting up the router, without carrying other people installing extra software. So this is the thing. If you really want to make it easy for other people to reach your Raspiblitz, I think this is a great solution, and it developed nicely over the last hack sprints from step to step to really now having a good solution for non-technical people to use in the end.
I absolutely love it. And you hit the nail right on the head, It's all about that easy user experience, that people can just, simply set something up like this, provide a service to their community, and at the same time, you know what I mean? It's not difficult, and the barrier to entry is lower. So I like that a lot. I really do. So I'm looking forward to
What's really nice about this, you really get all the benefits Lightning can deliver, because you pay in micro transactions for this. So you pay the bridge you're renting for 24 hours, and you just pay some sats for that. And if it's not delivering the service you expected, you cancel the subscription, and you just risked about 20, 40 satoshis to test it out. So it's a very low risk to try services, and really gives us this micropayments that Lightning enable. So it's perfectly on the business side of that. And it gives us the benefit of Lightning also, that if I pay the service doesn't know who I am. And now we have a service that I can connect to, and it doesn't know who I am because I just give my onion address, my hidden service address from my Raspiblitz. So from that side, it forwarding traffic to me, but it doesn't know who I am. On that side, it never sees an IP from me there. And also on the other side, I can pay through Lightning in an anonymous way, because the receiver of a Lightning payment doesn't know who's paying. It's just seeing I gave an invoice and got paid, and now I deliver the service. So I think it's very, very nice. Even if you compare it with a VPN normally sees your ClearNet IP, even if you paid with Bitcoin. Some VPNs are out there that you can pay with Bitcoin, but in the end, they normally see your ClearNet IP, so they have data about you. So I think we reach a really, really nice spot with this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like that a lot. Very security focused. It's very nice. Thank you. So, what do we have next from this hack sprint?
So we can go through a little bit more through the list. There were people presenting a little bit stuff, work they did like between hack sprints, because there's always the idea. This is not a kind of only hackathon event where you just kind of make a project and you do it for a weekend and then you drop it off. So this is about projects that are mostly continuing, and it's also good to have an idea on a hack sprint and then program on stuff during the hack sprint and present it the next time. It's definitely the platform we want to provide here, so that people can really work on continuous projects and even present projects or code they were working on during hack sprints. For example, there was the Bowser wallet. I'm not exactly sure if you know this device. A lot of people already played with this.
Oh yeah,
this is the M5 stack. So and BTC Socialist was programming the Bowser wallet. So you can find it on his GitHub, or on the challenges list. You will find the wiki.fulmo.org. This is a wiki from our hack sprint. When you go to challenges, you see all the projects and you find all the links to the GitHubs there. And you can then install on this little device. You can turn it into a hardware wallet. And the nice thing, I don't have it running here, so I haven't time to play with it, but I saw the video there, and it really looks nice. You get kind of a Tetris kind of size thing, so if you turn it on, they think it's a play device. Okay, somebody, I don't know, it's a Tetris, a game, right? But if you then do the right combinations here, you put in a Morse code passphrase, you get to a hardware wallet site. So also very, very nice project, how you can use those M5 stacks if you have laying them around. So
I definitely will.
And I saw some people kind of installing it and testing it out, and we got good feedback. So we're looking forward to that one.
Cool. I like it. I actually have an M5 stack lying around.
Perfect. Then let us know how it's working, and let Ben know how you like it or what features you're still missing. So because user feedback, and this is also the nice thing I wanted to say. We had on another project that it was very good for people that are maybe non-programmers but are interested in the technology, is that the Mastering Lightning. This is the book that has been written about how to learn about Lightning. It's very popular. It will be published on a very popular publisher, like O'Reilly. So that's kind of the standard publisher to go if you're a programmer and want to learn about something and expect a quality book about it. Mastering Bitcoin, for example, is also there. And Andreas Antonopoulos wrote Mastering Bitcoin, and he's now writing together with Roast Beef and with Renee Pickard on Mastering Lightning. And
wow.
The good thing is, this is an open source book. This is an open source creation. So the book is already kind of developing on GitHub. And everybody's free, and not just during the hack sprint. Everybody's free even now or on during the week and the next kind of weeks to really go to this GitHub, already read the content that they have and give input back, like, and even make a pull request to that book and make it better. So, and they did exactly that. They used the hack sprint for inviting everybody from the community here to make a test read, to give feedback what examples, for examples, are not good yet or need to be more easy to accessible. So I think they started to work on some Docker images for make easy setups for test environments where you can try stuff out. And they got some feedback. You could really see it on the chat channel during the hack sprint. People trying stuff out, reading stuff, giving feedback, asking maybe why is this topic not in there. So that's very, very great project like this to even make it, even if you're not a hardcore programmer but you're interested in the tech, want to understand it. Definitely a great project happening during the hack sprint. And again, this is still ongoing. So you're definitely invited to join this, and they still ask you for more feedback and more test reading, because the more people read it in the beginning, the better it will, the end product will be, and everybody will have a better understanding about Lightning.
Oh, I totally agree, and obviously, just for all the listeners out there, all of these different projects, all the show notes, everything like, all the links, they're all going to be in the show notes as well. So if people want to follow up and go check all of this out. So no fear.
That's cool. Yeah, maybe let me Yeah, let me continue. There's one project that maybe not I think no code got written, but at least people started to look into this. This is also very good. It's an idea, and I really encourage this because there's still a bounty to catch on this one. So maybe an incentive to even work during hack sprints, or even if you finish before, just let us know. We will get you in contact. Is the building interface for standard banking software with the FinTS standard. So it's maybe a little bit more drier topic because it's about an open standard there that's normally used by banking software, but it's an open standard, and the idea is here. Bookkeepers have a hard time to manage Bitcoin. So for example, if you're a merchant and you want to accept Bitcoin and you really like the idea, and then you call your bookkeeper and say, hey, I want to do this Bitcoin thing and accept Bitcoin in my store. Can you do that? And they will say, Bitcoin putting into my stand, or I don't know, I don't see it anywhere here in my standard software. So for that, this would be too complicated. I would have to bill you a lot just for bookkeeping, and then the merchant will probably say, I don't know, maybe this is too complicated. So, if you build an interface to the standard so that you can run your full node, your Raspblitz, for example,
Yes.
and install an extra software there, and then you can connect your standard bookkeeping software like through this open interface, like any other bank account into that, like a bank account where you have foreign currency in there. So that people do this. So, and then you can manage this very, very easy and take a lot of pressure off of bookkeeper people, because merchants have to do the bookkeeping, and so we want to make it easy for them. If we want merchant adoption, we have to deliver those tools, and there's still a challenge out there. So I encourage everybody to look into this. And there's a bounty, I think, still from 1.02 Bitcoin to grab. So if you can deliver a prototype that at least programs a subset of the standard that shows that it's possible to integrate into such a bookkeeping software with the standard, that would be so awesome. If somebody is still inspired by this and says, okay, I'll give it a week and see how far I get. And please share your progress. Let us know how your progress is. So, because this is very, very much needed.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, that is, again, this is part of, the whole mainstream adoption and the whole user experience and lowering the barrier, because I totally agree. One of the challenges anytime I've ever thought of like trying to help somebody put a Lightning node in a shop is, okay, how do they do their accounting? Through that. I mean, yes, of course, I understand that they can sit there and manually do it. I totally understand that. But to your point, you want it to flow. You want it to be something nice and easy, something that they can just somehow click and it'll, obviously it'll just sit there and do the conversions, right? And be able to show it to them in a nice report that they could actually use, with the fiat banking world, so to speak. That as well.
We have to deliver.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, so definitely something to grab on. And 21 is enough. You're still around, right? Because you were presenting also a lot of work you did between hack sprints with your documentation on the Lightning ATM, right? So maybe give us a short look at that, even if you can share your screen maybe very quickly for people on the live stream. So take a look at this and let us know what else happened on the Lightning ATM during the hack sprint.
Yes, please.
Yes, I am around. I can definitely do that. Let me also try the screen share. I can do your application and jump over to the documentation. Can you see my screen now?
Oh, yes.
Good. Cool.
Very nice.
Very good. Yeah. So what happened over the hack sprint? So we didn't write much code this weekend for the ATM, but we got a lot of new people who want to build the ATM. So when I published the guide, I published the docs.lightningatm.me on Friday, and a lot of new people joined. The Telegram chat has been it's exploded. Basically, it's like triple or quadruple the people in there now, and they all want to build the ATM. So I've got a lot of private messages over the weekend from people who want to build it, who already started, who ordered the hardware. There's a lot going on. So I do think that this helps I'm looking forward to seeing more of the ATMs, maybe also attract one or two more that help writing some software. It's pretty easy, all written in Python, so you don't need a lot of experience. You can jump into the code and solve some issues that are open on GitHub. And this is basically the documentation website that I've been working on for a little while now, where you have, ask the question.
Yeah, I want to ask you, because the last time you and I spoke, you were still trying to decide what you were going to use for a power supply for people. So I bought all the parts, and the only thing I don't have yet is the power supply. So I'm assuming you figured that out? Is there a...
Yes, yeah. There is a solution now that you can find under the hardware requirements as well. Exactly. That problem is solved as well. Yeah.
Nice. That was the only piece I was missing, so I will be bugging you.
Good, cool. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, maybe I'll give a quick overview here. So that's like the start page where you land on, some information, what you'll find on here, a link to the Telegram group. Join us and ask away if you've got any questions. There is one section with a bunch of pictures if you want to take some inspiration. There you can see the different versions that have sort of evolved over time. The first cardboard box, and then that intermediate box, just a cube really, and then the latest version where you've also got sort of the round corners. And then move on to hardware requirements and software requirements. So 2 pages where you get to see all the details. So for example, here, Coin Icarus, if you want to know power supply, you go down here, you see what exactly you need. There is option 1 and option 2. Option 1 is what I recommend. You can click that link here to see more details about this particular piece of hardware. All the others are explained exactly what you need. Those links here, they just lead you to a Google search of this particular hardware part. So you got to decide by yourself where you want to buy it.
Excellent. I see. Yeah. You stuck with the e-paper. I remember you saying that you weren't 100% sure about the screen. So I see that you stuck with that. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, we got for now, we've got the Papyrus e-ink. Yeah. That seems a little hard to procure at the moment. I'm right now working on a version for a Waveshare e-ink screen. They are easier and even cheaper to get. So there should soon be a version where you can use either e-ink screen. And then there is actually also people working on a touchscreen version for it. So yeah, it should definitely be compatible with multiple screens fairly soon.
Very cool. Very cool, man. Yeah. I'm so excited to build this thing.
Good. That's cool. Yeah, we've got software requirements. So that's basically when you run through the setup later. So for example, here we've got hardware, software, and wallet setup. The hardware setup part is completely all made with YouTube tutorials. So there's roughly 1.5 hours of YouTube tutorials. Part 1, hardware overview and the first setup of the coin acceptor. There is a Raspberry Pi and display where, just really running through the whole. Also, I want to really encourage people who have never touched, and I've been in contact with at least 3 people right now. They've never interacted with a command line. And it is definitely possible. Like with this guide, you can do it. I go step by step. I show you all the details, what tools to use, what tools to install, how to flash software onto an SD card. So it really runs through the whole setup process.
Genius, man. People could take some support notes from you. Learn how to like that's how proper proper backend support is done. I like that. Good videos, good screenshots, man. Good explanations. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Cool, yeah. That's the whole hardware part here. Some wiring details. There is later on, like when we go through software setup, there is then also quite some instructions as to how to access, like how to change certain files, how to change currency, for example, from euro to US dollar or whatever you please. Fees, you can set the fees. So this would be this little instruction here. Got some information to how to activate the camera. We've got a log file that you can monitor and sort of like follow along what's happening on the ATM to make sure things are all right, or in case you have errors, those will be shown here in that log file. So pretty much everything is explained. And moving on to wallet setup, if you're using an LND implementation with BTC Pay Server, how do you actually connect your BTC Pay Server to the ATM? That's all explained in here with a bunch of pictures and guides, how to display the QR code that you then, it's basically a QR code in credentials encoded into the QR code that you then show to the ATM, and it configures itself with all those details and accesses the API, the LND REST API. We've got some more FAQ and common problems that might occur. We have wallet communication. I've made a little guide. That's actually not, I mean, at the end, we really end with sort of an LNTX bot explanation, the Telegram bot that is a Lightning wallet, but it's basically also quite an introduction into APIs in general, how to talk, like how the ATM talks, like how does that actually work? How does the ATM send Satoshis around? How, what is an API? What is an API endpoint, username, password? So it's a bit more general for people who want to get some more information about this whole communication between the ATM and the actual wallet that then sends the Satoshis. That's pretty much it. That's sort of what and the cool thing is definitely also if people now go and build, even they might not be able to write Python code, but they can definitely set it up and maybe help improve. So you can also contribute. It's a GitHub repository, this document website. So you can go on there, find the errors, find my typos, or help improving the documentation for other people. If you encounter problems, think of a solution and help improving the documents.
Thank you very much. That is like, seriously, 21 is enough. You've done a really, really great job with this. And like I said, I'm super excited to set it up. It looks like you've put together some really clear instructions, a nice, simple site. And yeah, man, great work. I still remember interviewing you, I think earlier this, I think it was like either early this year or like late last year. And I was just so psyched, you know, and you even said like, don't go out and get all the parts yet because it's not ready. But I had no choice. And I could see like it wasn't a mistake. So I'm really excited.
I'm happy to hear.
Does anybody have any questions for 21 is enough for the Lightning ATM? No, I think you just answered everything, so, so that's pretty awesome. All right, hey Rutsol, do we have anything else that was from the hack sprint?
Oh yeah, sure. We had the Zeus app around, so some issues with hackathon. I think definitely on those issues a lot of work. So still open, so you can go to if you use the Zeus app and you like to help to improve it, definitely check out the GitHub on that. But on the debugging of the new the 0.3 the release, that's I think it's coming up. So and had good discussion on UX stuff, and so always like continue improving it. And we also talked a little bit that maybe if the LND people are talking or listening, we still have the problem if you pair your mobile phone with, for example, with the Raspblitz, you have the QR code there, and having the TLS stored in there is always a big space. So the QR code gets big and it gets harder for the mobile wallet to read it. I think all mobile wallets have a little bit this problem, and the LCD screen on the Raspblitz is already quite big, so it can display the code, but then with seeing it, and so it's not that easy. Sometimes you have to take multiple times until it works. And to get the TLS out there would be nice, because then the QR code would be smaller. But for sure, you want a TLS cert to have a secured connection there, right? So some people, I think some wallets try to do like TLS trust on first use, but there's always a problem that you can leave the TLS out there, but then you can connect to your Raspblitz and you can trust the kind of the first certificate you get and you keep it. But this still could be a man-in-the-middle attack vector, because you don't know if somebody on the way to your Raspblitz was kind of giving you another certificate there or something, and just making a in the middle. So the things there that would be nice if you could do the check the sync without the TLS, but you get a little fingerprint of the TLS, and then you can download the TLS and just check it then, so you can trust it even if you haven't got it through the QR code. It would make the QR code smaller, but the only thing is for app developers, it's hard to download a TLS cert because they within their app programming, there's maybe no way to do this. So it would be nice if L&D, for example, would have an endpoint that you call and just download the TLS and then check it with the fingerprint I got through the QR code pairing. That would be so awesome. Just something personally I was talking with these people. They also like the idea, but it's hard really for them to get the TLS there in another way. So just a small update on that one, and definitely look out for the new update on the Zeus app that's coming out. Then we had the WeNode, and even the last kind of experience, it was a little bit not so much work on this, but this time we can see Stefan was definitely doing work, but other people joining. This time Jeff was also trying stuff out. So maybe you too, can you maybe report a little bit what was happening over the weekend and give us the updates?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear. Yeah, we can hear you perfectly.
Awesome.
Yeah,
great.
loud and clear. Me too.
Yeah. So Jeff, how did it go?
Well, I tried to set a new record, really, which I only learned after the fact. I found I have like this pretty nice HTC Desire. It's only 10 years old and has like 1 gigabyte memory and a little less than 1 gigabyte RAM. And I tried to install the WeNode on it, but unfortunately I failed, which is also one way to learn something, I guess, because I hope it inspired Stefan to actually write down some requirements for the WeNode. And so I personally learned that despite the sort of claim, I guess, that you can recycle old Android phones, they cannot be too old. But no, I'm just kidding. I mean, it was actually fun to try this. But so my success is that I successfully failed, even like putting some somewhat recent Android version on a really old but still pretty good phone. I mean, if you look at it, this is like still pretty nice, you know. I'm kind of whatever. So in any case, this is only on Android 2.3, and I think you need for the WeNode, you need Android 7 and up.
Yeah, you could do with 5 maybe, but then it's you need an old version of Termux. It's not really fun. But 2 is really pushing it. I think you'd have to push. There are possibilities to upgrade your phone to Android 5, and then you could use an old Termux and stuff. But this was, I don't know. I mean, I've tried to Google it. They all say that Bitcoin D needs at least 1 gig, and you have less than 1 gig. So it might work, but that would be really record pushing, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it might have been a bit tedious to make all the. I mean, everything is outdated, and I would have had to look for really old software and update it and flash it and all that. And OpenOMS is commenting that Lineage OS might be something to look at.
Yeah, that's usually the thing to go for if you don't get proper ROM for your device anymore, then Lineage OS is often the way to go. I just updated my first. WeNode to Lineage OS 14, I think, or something, which is not 14, 16 even. So that's Android 9, and that's nice because now I can get all the Termux upgrades again, and it's all even cleaner than the original.
We have to start a bit at the beginning because I think not everybody's aware what the WeNode project actually is about.
Right.
So maybe you can just give like a 2-3 sentence summary and what like your intention is with the WeNode project and what it is.
Yeah, maybe you have inspired me to have an issue now to put it on some requirements, and maybe I should also give a good summary as to what's the scope of it. But the idea is we all have old Android phones running around. By old, I don't mean like the oldest Android phones you can get. I just mean phones that you're not using day to day anymore for different reasons. Good reasons, for example, are if the display is broken, or there's I don't know, the touchscreen doesn't work anymore, the battery is not good anymore, stuff like that. Right? There are some requirements. You need at least 1 gig of RAM, and you should have a fairly recent version of Android to make it easy. And then you can run on those phones. You can run Termux, which is a wrapper for Linux, because Android really is just Linux. And you can run Bitcoin full node on this, and you can also run Lightning and other stuff on this. And I was actually trying to get C-Lightning to run. This was my project for the weekend, and I failed too. I gotta say, because originally I've been running LND for a long time, and the reason I chose LND in the first place was because they had a story for backing up. For having a backup, right? Backing up your channels, and they said, "Oh, there's this static channel backup," and I just went for it and found out later that it doesn't really work. I lost €600 or so on this node because my SD card crashed. And so now I'm really inspired to try C-Lightning, because they have a cool setup where you can back the C-Lightning installation with a Postgres database, and Postgres runs on Termux, and you can sync your Postgres to another device that also runs Postgres. So this is really an enterprise setup, but it's ideal for the WeNode thing, because you can just have multiple old phones lying around, which I actually do, and one can back up the other. So it's like an enterprisey setup for €0. And I really want to do that. I want to do this, but it's actually pretty hard to get C-Lightning to run, because as I found out the hard way, the installation documents there are really outdated. It says, oh yeah, you can cross-compile for Android, and you just have to do this. And I tried, and it didn't work. It absolutely it made me mad. And then I noticed very, very late that this is like a 2-year-old document that isn't appropriate anymore. And people have made have gotten later work to run, but it's very different, a very complex process with lots of patching and stuff going on. And even then, you don't get the latest version. So now I have managed to get on my own device. I have an old version of C-Lightning, but I haven't had time to really try it out yet. So I'm still working on getting on making a real package for Termux, so that you can just say package update, package install C-Lightning, and then everything works. But it looks like this is going to be a bit more involved than just doing it on a few weeks on.
Okay, so we're going to see some progress here eventually. Maybe in 2 weeks.
Hope so. 2 weeks, definitely.
Cool.
It's a 2-week project.
I'm glad I could be a little inspiration, even though it was basically just an hour or two of looking into it after I decided that it wasn't.
But you also found my old Twitter account. That's right, because I once wanted to to get a Twitter account for this project, and I actually did it, and it was at WeNode. But then I couldn't log in, because they gave me, without telling me, they gave me at WeNode 1, because WeNode, somebody already had taken that or something, but they didn't tell me. So I didn't know what the name of my Twitter account was. But you found it, and now I could actually log in. So now we have a Twitter account again.
And you have 1 follower at least.
That's great.
It's okay. You're gonna have 2. You're gonna have 2 soon.
That's amazing.
So. I mean, I definitely I'm interested by this. I unfortunately I have an iOS phone, so I'm contemplating just getting myself an old Android just to try this. You know, but like you said, not too old.
You could.
Not too old.
You should. Yeah, not too old, but but you can get a cheap one from eBay, because it can have all kinds of things that makes it unusable for just as a normal phone, right? If you can have a cracked screen, or it can have a broken touchscreen, or it can have a broken battery, stuff like that. So you should be able to get a really cheap one off eBay or something.
Stupid question. Could I do this with an Android tablet?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah,
why not?
That I do have. Okay.
Yeah, any Android device will do. I mean, but you need, as I said, one gig at least. Better 2 gig of RAM is good, and Android 7 makes it much easier.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I'm excited. Another project to try.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Sorry, Jeff.
Yeah, speaking of recycling. We're speaking of recycling hardware. I also worked a bit just to try out. I'm not sure if you know this little box, which is I think it's the first Casa node. Yeah. So I got my hands on one of those and opened it up. It has like the regular 1 terabyte hard disk and a Raspberry Pi 3. So it's actually fairly straightforward to put the raspiblitz on that, and I did just that using. Yeah, I mean that was fairly easy. It just takes a while to synchronize the whole blockchain, which I downloaded via the torrent, but the torrent is a bit old, so it has to still get the old block, the most recent blocks, and verification takes a bit on the Raspberry Pi 3, but. It was also about recycling old hardware and putting some newer software on it. I guess it's in the same spirit as the Wii Node. At least I felt it was. And now, since we already have a cool case, we can just put the raspiblitz in the old case. And just to finish off, I'm actually, I think this is not really super important for the whole world, but I'm kind of excited by this. I also found another Raspberry Pi case, which was recommended for the raspiblitz earlier. And I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but the case actually has holes for Lego tiles, so you can build your own Lego case. Which is going to be a little side project, and maybe we make a little competition out of that. Who's going to build the coolest Lego case for the raspiblitz? So that's basically my personal account of what I've been doing for the weekend. For at least some things.
Can we get a link to that case?
It's a Christian. Do you remember the name? The Rain Pibo? Is it the Pibo case?
Yeah, just for the show notes.
Yeah, I think it was Pibo.
Yeah, I'll send you the link, and you can put it in the show notes. It's a Pibo, and you might even be able to print it yourself. But the Lego feature is quite nice.
Because if we're gonna have a Lego competition, then I definitely want in.
Yeah, that's going to be quite the challenge. Yeah. Looking forward to that.
Yep. Lego Lightning. Here we go.
Right on.
Yeah, can I pitch in? Just speaking about weekend projects, I think for another possible fate for that Raspberry Pi 3 from the Casa node could be a Pi hole, which is advertised as a network-wide ad blocking, which is basically a DNS server running on your home network, and then it just sucks in every kind of call and blocks the unwanted ones. There are a good number of blacklists by default, but then you can put anything you like, and then you can block and whitelist and blacklist. Well, block or allow domains as you like. Choose one by one, and advertisements and trackers and things like that will be just sank in that little device. Nice. And then you can also use zero tier. So I know this because I've learned this from 21's Enough, which had a beautiful tweet about this, showing that 70 or 80% of his network calls are blocked outgoing calls are blocked from his network, I could achieve about 30% now. And it's just a very nice way to keep your privacy, especially if you're like using a VPN or try to avoid fingerprinting your kind of behavior. Then it's a great thing, and it's kind of a one-click install for Raspberry Pi 3 or basically any kind of Linux which is running anywhere on your home network. I think I can even show it quickly what it does. There we go. Back here. So it's dashboard. It's running on my internal network, and then I'm running it in 2 days. I've achieved 30% of the calls blocked, which is 11,000 blocks, and there are 89,000 domains on the block list, and most of them are. You can see here that it's like things are calling out to Let's Encrypt.
We can't see your screen right now.
Yeah,
your screen's not showing.
Not showing. I'm sorry. It tends to disappear. It's back again, I hope.
Not yet.
Is it? Not yet.
I think it's a bandwidth thing. So.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. So anyway, go to pi-hole.net. It is pi-hole.net, and it has like a GitHub, a community, and FAQ and everything else. Or I will link to the Twitter of 20 is Enough, which has a nice discussion under it to see how to set it up. But it's quite impressive that how much like unwanted communication is going out of your network, and it's a cheap device like Raspberry Pi 3 even, you can just block it. And with the help of zero tier, for example, or any kind of other VPN, you can connect to your own DNS server from anywhere. If you're running on your phone, for example, you can always connect back to it and just get rid of those unknown ads. And if you are overdoing it, you can get rid of everything Google, everything Facebook, or anything else. If you set it up in your household, you can drive the other people to craziness as well. So don't overdo it, but I would recommend to set it up with some with the default block list and with some reasonable additions.
This is very cool. I'm just on the website right now and checking this out. I mean, this is really interesting. Thank you very much for sharing.
Oh yeah, and
this might even be useful for me at work. So
yeah, absolutely. So there is just a small addition that you can actually, if you're running Ambien on any kind of SBC, which is like a Linux distro for these little computers, anything else than the Raspberry Pi, then it has a built-in setup function, and also it is available in BTC Pay Server as a Docker image, which can be optionally activated. So if you run the Docker setup for BTC Pay Server, which is the original kind of from the team, not the Raspblitz is not using Docker. So if you're running BTC Pay Server on its own, then you can add the Pi-hole kind of dashboard and function to it as well.
Yeah, I definitely need to dig into this a lot more. This is cool.
Got the screen share on if you wanted to.
Oh, cool.
We can see the screen share.
Take a quick look at.
Yeah, so you can see the screen share now, do you?
Oh,
you can see my screen share, can you?
I was able to see somebody's screen share.
Oh yeah, it's not mine though.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's mine.
Very cool.
Here you can see the. It's basically an overview. At the moment, I'm at 52% of blocked DNS requests. It was much higher a couple of days ago. There is a particular device that does a lot of requests to Google URLs. You can see the query log. You can basically see what is going on right now, what things are being blocked or allowed. So these are domains that are being allowed. There is probably a lot of there's often quite some Google domains that are being blocked, or that I personally block on my network that I don't want that my browser visits. So I have like a list of whitelisted things, of things that I do allow because I might want to use Gmail or YouTube. But then I also have my blacklist here that does a lot of blocking. That's the manual blacklist. But then you also have a whole lot of, for example, here in group management, you can add lists. There's a lot of open source curated list of domains you might want to add and block things in general. Like, for example, here I've got some Microsoft, some Facebook domains that I'm blocking. And there is a whole lot of domains that are being blocked now on my network. And if something doesn't work, I can just whitelist it, and from then on it'll work again. But it's a lot of devices that do background checks and crash analytics and whatnot. So my browsing experience has gotten a lot better, definitely.
I'm super excited to set this up. This is really, really cool. I like the interface too. It's nice and simple, easy to understand. I like it.
Yeah,
yep.
Definitely true.
Thank you very much for sharing.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so do we have any more updates from the hack sprint?
Oh yeah, there's still some stuff to report. Before I continue, I also like to see there's good use cases for all Raspberry Pi 3s. So, for example, if you had Raspiblitz, an early one that worked on a 3 and now to 4, so the Pi hole thing is definitely some good use for it. But also there are like Jeff, there's a lot of people that still want to use the Raspberry Pi 3, and getting blockchain on there is always a big problem, and I hope that will not kill me for that. But I can decide to terminate or get rid of the torrent download, because torrents, as Jeff was telling, it's hard to keep it up. It was kind of a workaround from the beginning, and a lot of people then download stuff and then stuff fails and they have to do it again. So this is losing a lot of time. So what else we want to offer with the Raspiblitz for people who still want to use Raspberry Pi 3 is that you really sync and validate the blockchain yourself on the laptop, and then you copy it over with over the LAN network, to make this the only way to do it, because Raspberry Pi would not be able to do it by itself. 3.1, because it would take a month or whatever to really synchronize by itself. And the good thing would be having it on your laptop, you do install a Bitcoin or validate everything yourself, and once it's done, you copy it over. You have still a copy of the blockchain on your laptop. So if anything goes wrong, whatever, you can just make a quick catch up on your laptop and copy it over again. So it reduces, even in the case of problems further down the road, if you have to restore something to get this back again. And again, you validated it all by yourself, just with your laptop, and then copy it over to Raspberry. So you're getting completely rid of this, trusting maybe a blockchain that comes from a torrent or something like that. So I hope at least this one, if you have feedback and comment on that, you definitely need this torrent thing, let me know to know where we cause maybe pain with this decision. But I think just to clear up a little bit the stuff, was a decision to go.
Very nice. All right.
All right, that's what we have still on the list here. We had the Pi blog was presenting. The Pi blog is a kind of collection of Python scripts that also have a kind of menu structure where you can do different things like node or transactions, and it even has an integration to play with the satellite stuff. So sending messages over the satellite, receiving stuff. So this is interesting. So we have to see where this develops. It may develop into a little bit like a node management way for terminal style. So we have to see, but good to have that part of the hack sprint. And then we had the people about the Rust Lightning network, Rust Lightning node, where kind of hacking out still to make the implementation of a Lightning implementation on Rust. So, and they think they had good progress there. And I think Olga,
Hi.
are you there? Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I'm here.
Tell us a little bit about what happened and what else was your journey on the weekend.
Hi, guys. So it's our third Lightning Hack Sprint with the same idea of developing the Rust Lightning node. So first, I want to thank Rizolfo and others for organizing it and everyone for participating, making it this initiative like rock solid with every month. Thanks, guys. I know how much effort you put on this. You rock. I really do. So probably I'll start with a brief intro. So we're one of the guys that have been developing RGB. It's like a set of protocols, to put it simple, assets on top of Lightning Network. And during the hack sprint, we started to build a Rust Lightning node, a node that would be highly modular and ready for also not just like RGB what we needed, but also for future Lightning extensions in different forms for different projects. Because like currently we have a couple of problems with existing implementations. For example, they are not that suitable for upcoming Lightning upgrades, channel factories, taproot, and different things like that. And also, as far as I know, the problem of Lightning Network not being ready for layer 3, like DLCs on Lightning Network or Lightspeed payment that we proposed some time ago. So we have been trying to work around all those issues. So kind of back to what we've done during this weekend. So this time we have a couple of new contributors. Most of them are pretty new to Rust. So we chose to do onboarding troubleshooting more than actual new node development, because we do appreciate the effort and contributions to our activities, especially understanding that the whole node structure and concept are pretty complex to digest in the first place. Then it's hard to start doing it if you don't have that much experience with Rust. So we decided to put a lot of effort into that. And nevertheless, we had great troubleshooting sessions. We had new issues raised on the dashboard that we have, like specially dedicated to Lightning Hack Sprints. We developed the Docker files. We received bug reports, dealt with conflict resolutions, etc. So that was pretty much it. Though I'm pretty sure from what I see now that next month during the next hack sprint, we'll have a lot to show and maybe even something to give already for playing around with.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited to try this out. The Rust Lightning node. I mean, that's super cool.
Thank you.
I know nothing about Rust, so for me, it's just tumbling down the rabbit hole and, just something new to try and bang my head against, so I'm excited.
Well, so far, all the feedback that I have gathered about Rust from different kind of developers, like some of them are old school Java people, some of them are React.js followers and worshippers. All of them, as long as they touch Rust, they just give up everything else. So if you do not want to spend your time on developing Rust, do not even touch it. Yeah, that is a rabbit hole. Oh, and yeah. And also I wanted to say thanks to the self-organized sessions over the course of this weekend, because I participated in a couple of them, and it has been extremely interesting to learn who's doing what, and to share some insights from my experience also. So great job, guys. Thanks.
Thank you so much. And obviously, we're going to add the details to that project in the show notes as well.
Awesome. Thanks. I'll drop the links.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. What I want to say is, right, it's absolutely okay to say we concentrated on onboarding people to our project because there were people asking stuff. So we really go to those people and then take time for those people. This is exactly also what the hack sprint is about. This is why we are not just a hackathon where you just say the line of codes I did and the prototype is the most important thing. it should be exactly for this the hack sprint, like to get you into it, to connect you with new people and give them an overview, give them a good starting point, helping out. So this is exactly what it's meant for. So you definitely on the spot did it what is this event is for. So perfect. I have on the other side, I have to a little bit like maybe disappoint some people, not sure. Maybe we can just discuss this also, but it looks like a little bit like we from the Full Moon team, we want to make a summer break for the next hack sprint. So I don't think there will be a July hack sprint, maybe in August, but definitely I think this September we will see one. So a little bit bear with us. So we because we also, this was for everybody, especially in this special situation, also a stressing time. So having the sun out now in the summer here in Berlin, Germany. So I think everybody needs a little bit stretch out. So
big time.
But definitely there will be some other hack sprints, but maybe not in the July thing. So we will let you know. So I think everybody is subscribed to our channels on Twitter and stuff. So we'll definitely let you know when this will happen. So
that's awesome. No, we really appreciate, I mean, seriously, like Olga said, that can't be downplayed, the organization and you guys pushing through every single month and constantly doing the updates. I mean, the development on this, there's private corporations that wish that they could get teams to work the way that you guys are working to develop. So seriously, man, it's no small feat.
Cool. And maybe because Olga was also talking about this, the self-organized sessions, we really had also really some nice ones. The one where really I personally enjoyed it, just wanted to mention. I'm a little bit sad that we didn't record it, so I just want to tell you that this is happening. Is the Spacebox Full Node for Africa? So there's we got connected to people, to blockchain enthusiasts or Bitcoin enthusiasts in Nigeria, and they started really to just contact me at one point, and to say, here, we're using your Raspiblitz, and we building a special customized version of it, like a node specialized for the African region, like even having possible to connect it to solar panels, to have battery backups and stuff like this. So this was definitely great to see that there's a big initiative to get those full nodes out there to a country like Africa. And what's really great to see in the presentation we saw is like it's totally resonating with a lot of what people see here, like giving you this freedom and an alternative financial system where you can opt out and then maybe boycott the existing financial system. This seems to very good resonate with people there. Of course, there's always people like asking, how can I make money? This is a thing. This is behind the crypto world here. So this is a lot of people who just want to get their Lambos, but really enjoyed this to see this, and a little bit sad that we didn't record it, because I think this should be shared a little bit more to see what's happening, because it would be so great to connect those communities a little bit better, because they have some pain points. They're searching for giving out an app that works well for the people out there in their communities, and also like how they connect a little bit better to like satellite and LoRaWAN, so to a little bit more self-management, and also a kind of a mesh network, having doing the internet themselves to a certain degree. So this is really something for everybody listening here, and also you're looking for something where you can make an impact. That's definitely an area. And we're from the Raspiblitz community. If you just join the Raspiblitz community and say you want to help on those problems, please let me know. I will point you into the right direction, and hope we can maybe even emphasize this a little bit more on the next hack sprint, even if this one is then just not in July.
Thank you very much. That's absolutely amazing. And I definitely encourage anybody who wants to get in. Don't think that you have to be a programmer or something like that. Working on an adjacent product or project, that interfaces with Raspiblitz in some way that maybe, none of us ever thought of, like, that's fantastic. Everything like that is applauded. So definitely people should get in. Actually, I have to say there's one thing that I've been looking into, but I haven't actually decided to start the project yet because I think it might already exist, is how they have the Pi Juice hat for just the Raspberry Pi, but they really don't have a portable power supply that works well with the Raspberry Pi 4 and an SSD. So I was maybe going to look into, building possibly a board with a rechargeable lithium battery that, that maybe could power the Pi, or looking into see if something like that exists. That would be cool.
Definitely. This is really the point. You don't need to be a programmer if you know how to solder some electronics in a good way, and give a Raspberry Pi in the setup we have with the Raspiblitz a stable backup power, and even have and then you can maybe find how to communicate back how much battery is left in some easy way. This is definitely something a project to work on. If you can present something like this on the next Hack Sprint, that will be up. It's so much love for you, though.
I wish. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm like baby steps away from any of that, but still, it's definitely something that I just picture what I think of when I think of the the Raspiblitz and all of the the adjacent services, the invoice terminal, and all of this stuff. I always picture somebody a nomad that can work anywhere and that can build from anywhere, right? And I think that part of that is that they're able to connect, let's say, their Raspiblitz to their phone, and through that they're always able, they're always able to stay connected and offer services, and be able to do that without any power either, without any requirement to always need a wire plugged in somewhere.
Yeah, we definitely have to make it more robust, and because we think from our situations, sure, our power and our internet comes out of the wall, so that's great. But really to connect it really to this mesh network area, to alternative power kind of systems, and manage them in a good way, that's so much value.
I totally agree. Well, we'll see what comes up.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else, or have we covered all the updates so far?
So lately, from what was happening, this was my overview. So maybe we can ask Jeff if Jeff saw anything else you would like to mention. But from my side, I really have to say, I think we made a good wrap up here.
Cool.
Jeff, anything else to add from your side?
Yes. Thank you, Christian, for putting this together. It was mostly on your shoulders this time. I mean, we've developed a format that's working quite well, but really Christian is the one who's doing a lot of legwork, and it wouldn't be possible without you. So thank you very much.
Thanks.
Yeah, big shout out to Christian for this. Seriously.
Yeah,
thank you.
Awesome weekend. Thanks a lot.
Ooh.
Thanks for organizing for sure.
Okay, so I think everybody enjoys your summer break. Really, we had a good run until now. So I think every relaxing from time to time is well earned for a lot of people in this community. I see so much work, so much passion. So pump up your batteries again, and then I think in maybe July will not be, but August, September we will fire it up again.
Very
if
cool.
you're bored, we're still going to do a couple more episodes of Podsplits the coming Sundays. For now, it's planned to have a closer look at the Raspiblitz again next week with Rootsol and OpenArms, and maybe somebody else. I'm not sure. We still have to discuss that. But if so, don't think you have to be bored. You can also tune in on Podsplits on the YouTube channel, where you're probably watching this right now. But that's enough for shilling that. Thank you also, Koinikaros, for being the host today. It's always a pleasure.
My pleasure, and of course, thank you guys, right? Because you guys are all you guys are the creators, and I'm just getting a front row seat. So I couldn't ask for more.
Perfect, cool. All right, I think we have a wrap up.
Yep.
So everybody out there, it was a great weekend, and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Cheers.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks all.
Bye.
Hope you guys enjoyed that episode. All the details will be in the show notes. And seriously, when it comes to these Lightning Node roundtables, the show notes are really worth it. There's links to every single one of these guys' GitHubs, all of the different projects they're working on. And you know what I mean? If you think that you're, possibly bored or not challenged with Bitcoin, go and take a look at these projects. You will not be sorry. There is more than likely something there for you that is going to pique your interest. So, as always, all of their contact details will be in the show notes, mine as well. And of course, if anybody wants to reach me by email, I am coinicarus@funwithbitcoin.com. If you want to catch me on Twitter or Telegram, I am @coinicarus. Catch you all next time. Thank you again for listening.